Hey, all right, so I was kicking my dog's tail out of the way. All right, so welcome to MACROS. I just spit, but that's okay. All right, so today we're going to talk about what macros are. What is a macro, what qualifies it as a macro, and why do I count it? So when we talk about macros, kind of the top level, okay, like we're going to have several different levels, but like the blanket that goes over all of it is you have three things called macronutrients. Just about all foods have a combination of all three of these things, but they will be predominantly one. And I'll explain that in a little more detail in a second. First of all, let me just tell you that your macros are basically proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. When somebody talks about counting macros, that's what they're saying. They count their proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. All right. The reason why I say all foods are made up of the majority of them is if you take a sweet potato, it is predominantly a carbohydrate. However, it does have trace amounts of protein and very minuscule trace amounts of fat. So we count what is combined in it, but we would identify it as a carbohydrate because that's what it is mostly. Same thing with chicken breast. A lot of people eat, they go on a diet, they start eating chicken breast because it's predominantly a protein with trace amounts of carbohydrates and fat. All right, so that's what I mean, when I talk about that. Coconut oil, predominantly a fat, so that kind of thing. Avocado, predominantly a fat, however, it does have protein and carbohydrates in it. So it's important to know that there are very few foods that fall into just one macronutrient range. So what do I mean when we count macronutrients? Counting macros is simply a way of being very aware of what you're putting in your body. So how does that differ from counting calories? Okay, a calorie is a unit of energy. That's all a calorie is. And when you count calories, whether you're looking to lose, gain weight, maintain, whatever, you're simply keeping track of the units of energy that you take in, no matter where they come from. When you count macros, what you're doing is you are telling your calories how to work to best suit your body and your goals for your body, whatever that may be. And goals can be fat loss, muscle gain. They can also simply be health, and they can also be energy. All right, so it's very important to make that distinction. Macro counting has gotten really, really hot now because a lot of competitors do it, a lot of fitness people do it, and it's awesome because it will get you to your goal a little faster. But it gets confusing, and people don't really go about it the right way. So this series of videos is going to teach you how to go about it the right way. It's also going to talk about what if you don't dig counting macros and you don't want to do that. Can you still reach your goals if you don't want to count macros? So we're going to talk about all that. But for today's video, what you need to understand: protein, carbohydrates, fat. Those are your three macronutrients. Proteins and carbohydrates both have 4 calories per gram. Fats have 9 calories per gram. All right. And so in an essence, are you still paying attention to the calorie intake? Somewhat. All right. You're just making sure that your calories are coming from the correct sources to reach your goals. I liken counting macros to a bank account. The way that we do it in our household is we have envelopes for everything that we need and want. So we have envelopes for groceries. We have envelopes all the way for like my massages that I get, clothes. We have envelopes for business stuff. I have envelopes for the gym. I have envelopes for all that kind of stuff. So for the kids, we separate things into envelopes. So we take our money and then we put it exactly where we want it to go to reach the goal. So if we're saving up extra money for something else, then we know what we can cut back on and where we can put that money. Same thing happens with your macros. What you're doing is you're taking all of your macros and you're basically telling them where you want them to go based on your personal goal. And we will go over several different goals in this video series, so stick with me. Proteins, carbs, fats. That's on your test today. Those are your 3 macronutrients, and those are the ones you need to know about. All right. Typically though, if you want to reach your goal faster, no matter what that goal may be, you're actually going to be paying attention to 5 different things: proteins, carbs, fats, fiber, and sugar. All right. So I'm going to teach you how to count those. I'm going to teach you what goes into each one of those. But for today's purpose, all you need to know is what I just told you so that you know what a macro is. And now when people ask you what the heck is macro counting, you can go, dude, like you don't know that? It's totally just counting your 3 macros. Okay? Know where your calories are going by counting your macros. And then you will open your bank account to a whole new world. All right, so I will see you in the next video. We're going to break those macros down a little bit further, as well as why we count them and what the benefits are. I'll see you then.